Welcome. This is a video documenting our 5-day trip to Hampi and Karwar. We left on a Sunday morning, so we had relatively smooth traffic getting out of Bangalore as we headed towards Hampi through Tumkur and Chitradurga. Since we were staying at Hyatt in Hampi, which is a good 1-hour drive away from Hampi town, Google Maps took us through the forests of Sandur. If we had taken the normal route to Hampi, we would have crossed Hospet and entered Hampi town, but due to this deviation, we were able to see such beautiful scenes of the canopy of the forest, as well as a viewpoint called Sandur viewpoint, from which you can see the forest as well as the Tungabhadra river basin. I don't think we would have gone out of our way to drive to these viewpoints to see such beauty of nature. So that was day 1. We drove into Hampi and settled into the hotel. Hyatt is in a township called Vidyanagar. It is the township that houses the employees of Jindal Steel Factory in Vidyanagar. Early next morning, we headed out to the old town of Hampi to see the sights. As usual, Google suggested that we go through narrow village roads over the wide highway roads just to save a few minutes, but no complaints here because, look at the view. We don't see this at all living in a city. We reached Hampi, and first thing my son wanted to do was the coracle ride on the river. We decided to see a few main places that will be of interest to us, as well as our 7-year-old ball of energy. We parked our car and hired an auto rickshaw to take us from one place to another. We did not hire a guide because, as much as architecture and history is my area of interest, it wouldn't have been fair to a 7-year-old to stop at every pillar and stone for a story. But looking at these stones, I felt like I had travelled back 800 years when this would have been a bustling centre of people engaged in their everyday life. My son was absolutely thrilled with the ride, especially when the boatsman spun the coracle 360 degrees for a good 30 seconds. I did not enjoy that, so I couldn't capture it on video. The next stop was Virupaksha temple. There are several small temples to see here, but we went with the flow and wandered around the main temple and temple grounds. We did a bit of rock climbing and took a deep breath when we reached the top. Oh man, what a sight. We thankfully had the weather on our side and it stayed cloudy the entire day. We made it to the world famous stone chariot, which is located in the Vijaya Vitala temple. Fair warning, it is a 2-kilometer walk back and forth from the entrance to the temple. So if you cannot walk, you have to wait in a long queue to board the electric buggy. Again, thanks to the weather, we walked and we were rewarded with a piece of history standing before us in its true glory. The 3 of us love animals, so we wanted to go to the Daroji Bear Sanctuary. The start point to this bear sanctuary is next to the Hampi Zoo. The zoo is just okay. So you're taken from the start point in a safari jeep around 12 to 15 kilometers away onto a small hill. On the hill is a remarkable viewpoint from where you can see these lovely creatures. We were lucky enough to spot 2 bears chilling on the rocks quite far away from us. Although this video is very shaky, I was able to take it with a 50x zoom camera, so you can imagine how far they were away from us. The viewpoint, as you can see, is brilliant. The next day, we said goodbye and see you again to Hampi and headed to Karwar. We specifically wanted to stay in Karwar because we know getting a hotel there will be much easier and economical than trying to find something in Goa in the last week of December. Although this drive from Hampi to Karwar was long, I must say it was okay, it was smooth. The roads leading up to Hubli is a 3-lane road, and from there it's a windy mountain road through the ghat section down to Karwar. There are very few restaurants on the way, and this one restaurant called Krishna Residency had some decent food. But I am Very glad we had a stopover in Karwar because I haven't seen such a clean and gorgeous beach in my life. The next day, we headed off to Palolem Beach in South Goa. It's a short 30-minute drive from Karwar to Palolem. As soon as we reached, a very enthusiastic boat tour guide found us three clueless tourists and convinced us to get on a boat to show us the dolphins, the turtle rock, and of course the stunning, beautiful butterfly beach. We spent a good 90 minutes instead of the usual 20 minutes because the boat's engine gave up and he had to call for a backup. The rest of the day we just hung out at the beach shack, ate some good food, and then headed back to Karwar. Day 5 was us just heading back to Bangalore with a stopover in Davangere to break our journey. This journey turned out to be quite rough for us because they were 2-lane roads through the forest and the road wasn't great. There's a lot of construction going on and we cannot go more than 30 or 40 kilometers per hour. And then since we had come to Davangere, we had to try the benne dosa and it absolutely lived up to the hype. We rested in Davangere and the next morning we headed back to Bangalore. I can truly say that every minute on the road and the places we saw and enjoyed will be a long-lasting memory for us. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time.